Hello, and welcome to Let's Play Dwarf Fortress. So this is the first Dwarf Fortress Let's Play video that I'm doing, so, if you have any suggestions, just let me know. I don't know if I'm not talking clearly, or if you need more explanations, or less explanation, or whatnot, or, if you just want to be named after a dwarf. Okay, so, first I will go through the world generation process for new players. 1 second, I don't think the window's actually selected. Okay, there we go. I've already prepared a world beforehand because I like to get a good one for videos such as this, but I'll go through the process anyways and then just quit early. So you go to create new world, and you get a little, bit of a blurb here, and then you go to the world settings. Generally the best things I find are to leave everything medium, except for a number of beasts, natural savagery, which I both put to very high. It doesn't really affect the game difficulty all that much. It just makes it, easier to find these natural regions with more savagery, which tend to be a lot more interesting for playing. I think you do get attacked by more beasts for sure, but the beasts aren't so bad. Usually you can just wall them off or take them out with military. Like, you only fight one at a time. Okay, and then you just press Y to go and start the world generation. And what you will get... Okay, why is this not going? Sorry, I had caps lock on there. Okay. What you get is a map here of the world. You can use your mouse to, zoom in and zoom out. And yeah, this just shows you the world generation process. It makes all the mountains, forests, puts down the rivers, the civilizations, and then progresses time through to a certain year. So I actually zoom in. You can see here that it's counting through year by year. And on a medium game world, this will stop at year 250, and then the world will be done. However, at any point during this world generation, if you like what you see, you can press escape. And it will pause the process. And then you can start. But I will just abort this world and go with a pre-generated one to save some time, because the end of this process can take a little while. Sorry. Okay. Abort and abort. I'll zoom back in. And let's start playing on this new world I've generated here. So we will go to Dwarf Fortress mode. There's also Adventure mode and Legends mode. Legends mode is, you can basically just go through the history of the world in a series of menus. For instance, I can go to historical figures and take a look at historical figures that are present. And at the top of this list here, it starts with like dragons and other really mythical beasts. So on the left is the name, and then you have the species here. And then on the right-hand side is the year that it died. So this female rock has deceased. There's still a male dragon in the world, still a male hydra, still bronze colossus, and a female dragon, which is pretty good for a world this age. These creatures do not reproduce. So once they're dead, they're gone. Okay. The sound I have playing is I'm using Sound Sense, which replaces the sound for the game. Okay, so now let's go and play in this region in Fortress mode. Adventure mode is more like just a traditional RPG kind of mode that you can play within the created world. Okay. First thing, it lets you pick the region that you want to start in. I like to start near to these necromancer towers, because then not only do you attack by goblins, but by necromancers as well. And there's 2 towers right here, so maybe we'll get attacked by a lot of necromancers we start here. That might be an interesting start. Okay, so when picking a region to start in, a good rule of thumb is, especially if you're new to this, to pick a region without an aquifer, and that has at least deep metal and flux-stone. If you can get shallow metal as well, it's good too. But yeah, I mainly just look for deep metal and flux-stone. Let's see what we have here. Oh, that's interesting. So if you look at this elevation map, there's an elevation change, like right here, in the region where I've moved a selection box. And the river runs down that, so there's probably a little waterfall there. It might be a cool region to start in. We do have an aquifer though, but it might make for an interesting video. Yeah, so let's start here by this waterfall. I will increase the size of the map just a little. Should maybe bring this down. Yeah, it should be an interesting start. Okay, and then E to embark. It says you have selected a large area, choose a small area, experience lag. You have selected area of an aquifer. It might be difficult to obtain stone here. But we already know that there is deep metal and flex stone. And I think I can punch through this aquifer. Okay, cool. Let's get going then. Okay, and I have a pre-made starting pack here that I'm going to select, but I'll show basically what I've added to it. I'm using the latest Lazy New pack that has Dwarf Fortress version 34.11 with it, and there are pre-made combinations available. Mine aren't that different from these. Like, they're all similar, as you usually have 2 miners, a woodcutter, and a mason. However, I also have a military character, Axe Dwarf, to start with. And anyways, I'll show it. Okay. So there's a bug here in this game where underwater creatures that are present in a previously saved embark list will not appear, and you'll get this error. However, you can add these creatures back just by going new and putting them back in. So it was a cave lobster that was missing. So just type in cave lobster, cave lobster, and just add them back. So yeah, you can work around the bug, and it's not the biggest issue. Okay. So I have 2 copper picks, 2 battle axes. I don't bring an anvil because you can buy it at the first caravan, and it's very unlikely that you'll be forging metal before then. Yeah, and then a lot of plump helmet spawn and seeds and stuff, and some quivers, ropes, buckets. And then I also bring some animals, like a couple dogs. I have cats, and I think in this list I also have turkeys and alpacas too. So for the dwarves, I have 2 miners. This character is my axeman, so my fighter here, Stugos, and then Zolban. What are you? He is the woodcutter, carpenter. This person is a grower, brewer, cook, and I think they have a few more social skills. Or is that it? Huh? Okay. That's fine. And then I have Judge of Intent and Appraiser. So this is my training character, and these are the skills you want for that. And then this person is probably my Mason. Yes, and this is my Mason. And one of these probably has some other social skills to use as a manager. Though I'm not entirely sure, but I'm sure one of them does. Okay. So you can press F to name fortress. Ooh, foggy rope. Yeah, it's kind of comical, I guess, in a weird way. Okay, we'll go with that. Don't like to waste too much time because you don't really read the name much and it doesn't have too much effect. The musing page. No. So what I'm doing now is picking the name for the group, for our band of dwarves. Okay, let's just Cobalt Urn. Tenacious Halls. Yeah, I like the Tenacious Halls. That's cool. We'll go with Tenacious Halls. All right, and let's get started. So you just press E to embark, and it will place your dwarves down on the map. Should just take a second to go through the fairly fast computer. Okay. So it says you have arrived after a journey from mountain homes into forbidding wilderness, blah, blah, blah. You know, provide for your dwarves and stuff, or the wolves get hungry. New chapter dwarven history begins here at this place. Amuggoden. Oh, that's actually kind of a cool name. Amuggoden. Foggy rope. Okay, so let's go to Amuggoden and strike the earth. Alright, so 4 of these windows here, what you basically see is on the left is a local view, and this is about as low down, zoomed in as it gets in this window here. In the middle is a pane which shows, you know, possible actions, hotkeys. I mean, not hotkeys, just like possible actions and commands you can give your dwarves and things you can look at. However, there are other things, other commands available that I think might not be on this list too. And on the right is a big world map view. I tend not to use this, and maybe that's just because I have a graphical version, but if I really want to get a world view, I just zoom out like this and find that gives me a much better look. And this actually looks like a pretty cool place to start. So the river comes down from the top here, and then it just drops down multiple levels, but then the ground is split here like there's a river, so I guess it becomes a canyon here and it splits, and these are just paths of dirt that it's carved out over the years. That's how I like to interpret it. And if we go down, well, what is that little squiggly thing in the river there? Giant sponge. That's cool. I've never actually seen one of those before. Okay, let's see how many levels high this waterfall is. Okay, so this will be the first level. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's about 4 levels high. So it's not the highest waterfall. And what kind of stone do we have here? Chalk. That's good. Chalk is a economic stone. I believe it's even a flux stone. Let's just quickly check. Chalk. Yeah, so you can use it to make steel bars, pig iron bars. So it's a flux stone, which is excellent. Are there any ores present anywhere? We'll just take a look around at the edges here. So one benefit of starting on a level that has multiple height levels carved into it like this, you can get a good view of the first few layers before you even embark, and that can, you know, affect your embark site. Like, it's nice to embark on a site that has soil like this, for instance, though we will probably run into at least 1 or 2 layers of aquifer in this. Okay. Yeah, no particular ores. We just have a bunch of soil and some flux-stone, which isn't such a bad start. And we are here. I kind of would like to build it on this inside loop here of Fortress. I think that would be kind of cool. It would limit, you know, how much land we have to build in. This area might be better, right where we've started. Would be a cool start, though. That little loop. No, but we'll start more in the center. Yeah, right here. And I think what I'm going to do is just stick straight down and then build a keep around it. I guess there's 2 main page styles people have. Either they dig a hole in the ground and build a keep or castle around it, or they burrow into the side of a mountain. And if I'm playing like a terrifying map, a really difficult one, I will usually go with a burrow into the side of a mountain approach, because you can get everything in and close it off really quick. But for this map, even though we have those 2 towers there and goblins and stuff, they probably won't attack us for a little while, so we will have time to build a keep and proper defenses. So let's tell our miners to build. So you press designate task D for mine if you want to mine, but we will first build a downward stairway because we want to go straight to the ground. And maybe I should give ourselves some room, like somewhere right here would probably be a good spot. Okay, and that's right where our miners have started. And let's build a 3x3. That tree, yeah, we'll just shift it. Could chop the tree down, but it's not the biggest deal. We'll replace this thing right at the start here. So I'll do a 3x3 staircase. So this will be a major hub entrance point. Okay, and you can actually do multi-Z level selection now. So now that I go down to the next level, this staircase has to go both up and down. So you put an up-down staircase because you want to connect from the top level to the downer level. So you press I for that. And we can do multi-layer selection. So if I put a corner up, the top left corner here on a high Z level, and then I go down a bunch of Z levels, like I'll even go all the way down to 20, first of all. I like to break into the caverns as quickly as possible to spread growth of cave fungus and mushrooms into my settlement on my muddy squares, because then that will allow me to put all my animals inside underground and keep them safe. My grazing animals, at least. There's certain livestock that this isn't necessary for, like the turkeys that I brought, but the alpacas will require a certain amount of soil. I think an alpaca, like an adult alpaca, requires about a 5x5 square of grazing land. Survive the best. Okay. I forgot if I start. Okay, I'm in the top left square. Sorry, sometimes I digress there. And we will go down. There we go. And now we'll do a designation like that, all 30 levels down. Okay, and then we will tell everyone else here to just, chop down the trees and collect the plants in the vicinity so we can get some walls up nice and quick and build our tower. For some reason I'm kind of tempted just to carve away this whole top level here. I don't know why. It would be kind of cool. It is just a big pile of sand. But it might be a big waste of time. Okay, and then if you press P, you can gather plants. And I don't have anyone with plant gathering skill, I believe, so I will go use that Dwarf therapist now and assign that skill. Actually, no, this first time I'll show you how to do it within the game in case you don't have Dwarf therapist. Okay, so what you do to give someone the plant gathering skill, just first find a dwarf. And the dwarves that probably won't be doing a whole lot now are, for instance, my expedition leader here, or even my fighter. So let's pick the fighter, first of all. And we have to press C to zoom to the character. And then once you're on top of the character here, you can go to Preferences, and then Labor. And we can go down and pick the gathering skill, which is listed underneath farming and related. Press enter to enter that task, and then you go to plant gathering. Okay, and this will make this dwarf gather plants. And just press escape to exit out of this. Alternatively, you can use Dwarf Therapist. And that makes doing these designations a lot easier. Okay, so we'll start it up here. And here it shows all our dwarves, plus their skills across the top. In this tab that's open here, you can go to the next tab, which is military, which shows the military skills of your dwarves. Social, which shows the social skills of your dwarves. You can organize the dwarves here by different stats, so by nothing, profession, luxury status, sex, happiness, migration wave, and their job and various things. I usually leave this on migration wave because I become kind of familiar with the dwarves as they come in, and this just helps me split them up. And we can create some names for them. So I think I'm gonna name this guy here after myself. Okay, blue noise. And that's our fighter axe dwarf. Let's check out social skills. Okay. And here's our appraiser, judge of intent character, Sodal, who's going to be our trader. We will also make him plant gatherer. He's a stone crafter too, but we don't really need a stone crafter right quite yet. Okay. I think that's good for now. I guess I should designate a building designer. So an architect. And I will make everyone that's not a miner or a mason an architect. There we go. Okay. Let me know in the future if you want me to just jump over the skill assigning parts and just leave the video of the game and not open up Dwarf Therapist. I can do that. No mind. Okay. So now that we have the tasks designated for the start, we can start the map and game and unpause it and let things run. Good thing to do when you start is press U, and you can go to Other here and see what other creatures are on the map besides your citizens. So U gets you to the map. I guess it probably stands for unit list, I guess. And under citizens, you have your dwarves listed. Under pets and livestock, it's all the pets you have and livestock and stuff. And then under other, it's other creatures and entities that aren't part of your civilization here. And there are a bunch of thripsmen, river otters, which I don't have to explain, sturgeons, yeah, they're just regular fish, and then otter women. So these thripsmen and otter women are these half human, half animal, or half like creature or monster animals. So you can press V to get the description. And for otter woman, it's a person with the long body and head of an otter. She's incredibly skinny, yes, gigantic overall. Her hair is brown, her skin is copper, her eyes are brown. Okay, and there's a lot of these creatures in the game. I think I've heard that in a coming patch they're going to decrease the frequency of these human-animal creatures. Okay, so our dwarves are digging down. They haven't hit Aquifer yet, which is nice, because that will mean that we have a few levels to play in before we have to fight with the Aquifer. Oh, and we're to stone already. That's excellent. It is entirely possible that Aquifer is only on certain parts of this map, which would be really nice. I do not mind. Wow, there's a lot of chalk here. That's really good stone. So I know when most people think of chalk, I don't think of like a good sturdy stone, but in this game it's actually pretty valuable, and you can think of it like along the lines of marble, which it's pretty much equivalent to in this game. Okay, so the C on the left-hand side of the screen here designates, informs us there has been a fight. It says a giant sponge is fighting. Giant sponge takes the full force of impact. Giant sponge stands up. Giant sponge is no longer stunned. So I think I know what happened here. I think that giant sponge fell off the waterfall because it was really close. Yeah, and here it is, the bottom of the waterfall. You can actually take a look at it to see how hurt it is. Oh, and I'm guessing these are the otter people. Giant sponge. Huge immobile sponge. Its body is red. So it doesn't look like it got hurt at all. I think these are the otter people. Yeah, otter men and women. I don't think they'll be much of a threat to us. And these are just otters. There's a lot of otters here. So one thing that's nice about this newest version is they remove the downward slopes around the waterfalls. And that's a good feature, because before I play around waterfalls, and from time to time like an enemy would fall in the water and they'd get swept to the edge here, and there'd be like something to pick up, or maybe my dwarves would drop something in the water. But anyways, my dwarves would all run to the shallow water here in front of a waterfall and get swept off and die. And it would just be like 10 dwarves would just die at a time sometimes. So it's nice to remove those downward ramps so the dwarves just don't run to their death. If you could control your dwarves, it sometimes could be a good way of killing your enemies. Because I remember once I had a swarm of zombies run, and they just ran right into here, and the whole siege was pretty much over. But yeah, it is a odd behavior that I'm glad they've removed from the game. Wow, this is nice. We've gone down 11 levels and no aquifer. I don't think that aquifer is present in this part of the map. Keeping my fingers crossed, at least. So, it has just said that I struck Shell Opal. So, on the maps, world map, there will be these rocks. And in this graphical set, which is the Phobia's graphical set, gems on the rocks are displayed by these symbols here. And the top symbol here means gem, and then the one under it is basically the quality. And there's 3 levels. So this is like, it's a high quality gem, but not the highest. And you can take those gems and cut them, and then later use them to encrust furniture and other goods to increase their value. And this is mostly useful, well, besides trade, for the fact that later your noble dwarves will start demanding rooms of a high value, and you can use these specially created items to furnish their rooms and appease them. Yeah, pretty sure no aquifer right around here. Never gone down 19 levels and bumped into an aquifer, so we have gotten lucky. But it is somewhere, so we need to be careful where we dig. Okay. Well, there are 3 levels of sand here, or of soil, I should say. The first top one is actually yellow sand, and we have a wall of loam, which is just soil. I don't think it's useful for anything but farming. And then we have a layer of clay. So that's nice because we can use the yellow sand if we wanted to do a glass industry. Not that I've ever done one. And we can use the clay here to make like pots and stuff, which might be useful because it could free up our some dwarves, like our masons, from making jugs and other storage containers. Sorry, I have a habit of holding down shift and getting that annoying Windows filter key message. Okay, dwarves. 8 more levels, and then we will go carve out the farming area. Actually, why don't I just go designate that now while they're mining? So, probably the best thing to dig out first on a regular map, once you get into the ground or into a hill, is an area for farming. And on most maps, you'll have at least 1 level of soil. Here I got pretty lucky, and I actually got 3 levels of soil. So I think I will make my farm in this bottom level here. And that will, yeah, because that will take it closer to like where my dwarves will be living, because I want to build their living quarters into a nice chalk layer here. And that will increase the value of the walls, and I think it makes them happy. At least it looks better than building living quarters out of mud. Yeah, it doesn't look so good. Okay, so let's designate farming area here. I like to make a nice wide stairwell like this. Yeah. Oh, that's too much, but I'll remove that in a second. Okay, so designate it there with mining, and now I can remove the designation by pressing X. And I will just like smooth out the corners here and put some columns around. I guess they're columns just made out of clay, which could be cool if carved into it maybe. Oh yeah, you can't even carve into them, you can just dig them out. That's okay though. And then for the farming, let's build a passage out like this. Okay. And then some farmland up in here. And I will make the farms, I like to do 3 by 5. So that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's get enough room for maybe a seed storage area and then 2 more. So, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. That was too wide. I don't know what I'm doing here. Okay, we'll have an entrance to the mines. I mean to plants. Just getting a little tongue-tied. And once our miners are done this big central shaft, they will come over and dig out that area. Hoping I break into the cavern soon. Because I'd really like to move that livestock inside by spreading the spores from the caverns. And all I have to do is breach the caverns for that to happen. Usually get about 3 levels of caverns, or maybe you always get 3 levels of caverns. Sometimes a level won't have any plants in it, and I'm not sure if that's intentional or if it's a bug or what's going on. But I've gone caverns that are just floors covered in mud and nothing growing on the mud. Okay, I will designate a stairwell just going straight down here that my dwarves can dig out real quick, down to like level 50, just to see if I can breach these caverns. Okay, so one dwarf will probably go do that. Another one will, finish digging out the stairwells and starting our farms. Okay, got into the cavern just a couple levels farther. Discovered a downward passage. I wonder what that means. That's not referring to the caverns. I think I saw this message once before and I didn't really investigate it. I think it's just like a tunnel or passage that someone else has dug in Dwarf. And 2 of them. Interesting. So caverns were on level 38. And where did it say I broke through the caverns? Z. Okay, right here. There's our stairwell. And if we go straight down, we get into water, which is nice in a way. It's going to be hard to build our central column right through the water, but it is possible, and I may try it in this video if if you guys want. I'm not the biggest stickler for uniformity, but it'd be kind of cool, I guess. But for now, because we just wanted to break through these caverns, I think I will go and seal off the ground here to ensure, no flying beast that could spawn in the caverns can come up through here. Because I have times where, some demented flying goose with its ribs popping out of its body flew up through this chamber and caused me some trouble. So to do that, I'll go up 1 level, build a downward stairway there, and then upward stairway here, and then over this up-down one, I'll just temporarily build a floor. And by doing that, it will stop anything from coming up here, and because this never broke through the floor and doesn't, it will prevent anyone from going up through the square too. Oh, why does it say it's blocked? Huh. Maybe I have to build this one first. Because I'm pretty sure you can usually build a floor over an up-down staircase. Okay, let's see if they need to carve out that side passage first. And yeah, that was the issue. So now I can designate this here. It just wouldn't let me before because there wasn't a free square to the side to do the construction from. And but once this was dug out, it provided that square. Okay, and we will make the floor out of schist. All right, and I didn't explain, but to build a floor, you just go to a build menu, and you go to C to build a construction. So you press B, Shift, C, and then floor is under constructions. So it's kind of confusing because there's 2 main ways to build like stairs and walls and floors. The first is through the designation menu. So you go D, and then things you build through here, it's really just carving them out of a world that's already present. So if you want to make stairs with this method, there has to be some soil or rock in that square already, and then the dwarves just kind of carve the feature you want to produce out of that. If you want to create something that's in an empty space where there's no stone to carve it out of, you have to go through the build menu. So you press B and then Shift C for construction, and then you can build these features in empty space, like for instance building upstairs in empty space instead of building it carved into a wall. It's a little confusing, but it does make sense once you get used to it. And for your dwarves to actually build things in this menu, it costs 1 stone. So they have, or 1 build item. So it could be a stone or wood, I guess. And they have to haul it to the site to build it. Okay, so we'll have that area closed off down there. Just want to check the time quickly. Okay. And let's see. Okay, the dwarves haven't begun there. All right, we'll go to the top here and produce a wood pile. So all these idle dwarves, move all this wood a little closer to our fortress. So W for wood. After you press P for a pile, and then you can just designate it like this. And then they will carry all the wood over there. Oh, it looks like we have a camel here. That's cool. And I think this is like a yak or something. But I'll make a pasture for a moment outside of where I think I'm going to have my walls, and tell my animals. The animals that need the pasture to go chill here. So you press I, and that will allow you to draw a zone, like what I just did. And then after you draw the zone, you can pick, if you go over it while I has been pressed, you can designate as a pen and pasture and press Shift N to pick the animals that will be there. So the alpaca, both alpacas need forage land, and so does a yak cow, which I will probably slaughter very quickly, and the 1 hump camel, which I'll also probably slaughter really quickly. I think these animals just need way too much pasture space to make them worthwhile, so yeah, I don't bother with them. Too much of a headache. Okay, and now, so you can see my dwarves are carrying the wood and placing it in this pile here. And also moving the animals that need pasture down to the area that I've designated. Okay, I will build a temporary carpenter's workshop up here. So to build workshops, you press B for build menu, and then W for workshops, and then carpenters is under C. And just place that right there. And then my carpenter, oops, see my keyboard got stuck or something. We'll go build this thing, and we will make it out of chalk. Yeah, let's just build out chalk, because it's, well, there's some dorite close, which is a less valuable stone. This is going to be a temporary building. So I think the way it works is that first the carpenter has to come over to the building and set it up for production, but because I'm building out stone, later a mason actually has to bring the stone over and build it. But I'm not 100% sure. Let's see what happens. My carpenter is doing what? Woodworker is constructing the building. Okay. So maybe it's just the carpenter that's needed. Okay. Yeah, okay, it was just the carpenter. He can make it out of stone. What I said might be true for our buildings. I thought I had noticed that behavior. Sorry, there's a lot in this game. It takes a while to get everything in command. Okay, so I will build beds for all my dwarves here. So if I press Q and go over the carpenter's workshop, and press A add a new task, and then just B for bed. Okay. And I'll just build 10 beds. Because I'll give my dwarves and first wave of migrants some beds to sleep in. Though it likely won't be enough for all the migrants. When I start a map, I like to limit the initial value of my civilization. So I don't believe this will work now because I don't have a manager or a broker. But yeah, if you press Z, you can usually see your created wealth here. But because I don't have the dwarves with the skills for viewing this, it won't show up. But basically, the more creative wealth you create, the more migrants you get, and then the more migrants you get increases the chance that you'll be attacked by like goblins or necromancers and stuff. So I will try to keep this created wealth low at the beginning, and then once I get my fort established and I think I can start fending off attacks, I will ramp this up, and I will get a lot more migrants that I can conscript into the military and start to get attacked by more enemies. It's also kind of annoying to be dealing with a lot of migrants at once too. So, okay, now that there's enough room here for at least the first farm, I would designate it, and I'm going to leave this first area open here for seeds. On this plot though, these ones I'll just stagger these. Okay, let's get a few more. So, sorry, I'll say so for building the farms, you go to the build menu and then P for a farm plot. I'm going to stop actually saying what keys you have to do this for, and I'll describe it because you can figure it out going through the menus yourself, and it should make for a more interesting video. Okay, 2 farm plots. And typically what I do is about 1 farm plot, I do all plump helmets like just about everyone else who plays this game. And on the second farm plot, I will do a mix of different plants, but mostly one species. And that's because there are seasons in this game, and you can only grow certain things at certain times of year. So this plot will do all plump helmets, and plump helmets are by far the most useful thing you can grow underground. They can be eaten right by the dwarves, or you can just brew them as well, without any modification, to produce dwarven wine. And I think they're actually mushrooms, so I don't know how mushroom wine would taste, but yeah. These dwarves like to eat weird things. Okay, and so build 1 more farm plot. And so one of these will be all plump helmets, and then one will be pigtails, but not all pigtails because we can only grow them half time of year. So I will start it with quarry bushes for spring, summer. We do pigtails. On autumn we will do pigtails, and winter we'll do more plump helmets. I don't worry about dimple cups at first, because they're used to prepare dye when you're dyeing cloth, and you need a pretty good industry set up before you really want to worry about something like that. So we'll do plump helmets there. Okay. Oops, I had to pause. Let's see if my miners have anything to do. Oh, my miners don't have anything to do. I should give them something to do. Carve out some room for the living quarters. Okay. So I need room for a kitchen. And then my living quarters will be under that with the dining room and all that stuff. And then maybe some offices and like more offices and dining rooms. And then once I hit this stone here, I'll do the crafting level, which I like to usually place a little deeper underground just so it's closer to all the ores, which I haven't found any yet. Okay. So, farm plot, I'll give it maybe a spacer plot, kitchen, and then this will be the living area. I tend to like to build up-down across Z levels a lot more than I do within one Z level, and that's because I find it helps dwarves move around a lot faster. Because it only takes them one tile to go down a staircase here, so as opposed to like across a distance here. So they can go up and down Z levels just as fast as they can move up, down, left, right. That's what I mean to say. Okay, we'll just keep the same design for now, and then channel out some living quarters for them. And I will pause the video for a second, because it's not very interesting watching me designate all these things, I don't think. Alright, and I'm back. And I've made a dining area here. As you can see, I've carved this diamond-shaped dining area with columns out of it. But it's currently disconnected from everything else by these little gaps here. And I've done that because I want my dwarves to carve out their living area, which I've also begun to designate here. And I want to finish that up now. So, basically, I think I'm going to give them, well, I am giving them, I should say, these 3x3 living rooms, which is fairly luxurious for a standard dwarf, actually. So, yeah, they're going to be doing well for themselves. There's 10 of them created here, and then just join them by these little channels to the main walkway. There we go. And then the dwarves will come and start digging it up. And once this area here by the stairwell is dug out, I will make it a temporary meeting area just to get all my dwarves off the surface here. Because even though it's not a terrifying biome, you can occasionally get some really dangerous animals. Once I spawned with Wolverine right beside my troops, and it was very lucky that I had the axe dwarf with me. Otherwise, yeah, the dwarves would have had some fun. Okay, and this guy here is producing the furniture, all the beds. I think they just get stored in here. Yeah, so they're all stored in here right now. And once enough of them build up, then it clutters the workshop, and the guy will actually work slower. But that's okay. We won't build a stock area for those beds quite yet. Just let our dwarves just focus on carving out the bedrooms. And we can designate our third farm plot here. So we have, this is mainly Corbush's pigtails, and we will make this one sweet pods. In the spring, summer, pig. Oh, everyone was pigtails. So we'll do cave wheat. And in the autumn, cave wheat. And in the winter, just more plump helmets, because we don't want double cups. And I'll make a stockpile here, so pressing P, designate it for seeds. So you can modify the stockpiles by pressing Q. When we're to stockpiles, going to settings, and I accidentally made an animal one, but I can disable that by pressing D on animal. And then I want to make it for seeds, so I go down to food, I press enable, and then I'm going to need to disable all other foods and just leave seeds enabled. And there's a special case here, prepared food, and you need to press U to disable that. Okay, so now my dwarves will store all the seeds here, and as you can see, they're bringing them over. Because I changed an animal stockpile, animals don't get placed in barrels, so the max barrels set for this food stockpile is actually 0, and I will increase that to 3, which is the absolute maximum. Okay, my farmers are planting, and the bedrooms are being dug. And I will stop this video right here and come back for Let's Play number 2 after all the rooms have been dug up.